Hey guys, about almost 2 months ago now, I stumbled across a really talented poet out of Atlanta, Georgia, and I convinced him to sit down and chat with me about his writing and stuff. But not only is he killing the spoken word game, look at he's now a published author. I sat down with the author oh, that's so nice. The author Justin Good. Listen to what he had to say. He's a really cool guy. Hey, Justin. Thanks so much for coming on. I watched one of your videos and my mind was blown. I see that you just published your first book. Want to tell us about it?
That it's an honor and privilege for you like my work. It's a great feeling. I actually think I really was that's a great compliment, honestly. And yes, I just released my first book. It's called Black Ribbon, a collection of poems. So Black Ribbon, it's a poetry book that goes through mental health, love, purpose, and identity. And it's just so it's my first poetry book, and I just really just enjoy the freedom of writing as opposed to strictly just performing spoken word. It's just so much freedom in actually writing a book because it can be as long as short as you want it to be, and as long as you can get your point across. I think it was a great experience.
How long have you been writing?
I've been writing since I wrote my first piece in 2009, and I didn't start actually performing poetry until about 2015. So I'd say seriously for about 5 years now.
And how did you get into performing?
I uh, I went to an open mic. I just went to an open mic just for fun, and I ended up getting a show one day, and I was like, "You want me to perform at a show?" And after that, I started to like take it more serious and try to see where it can go.
Well, I definitely think you found your niche because you have a voice. Like a voice the world needs to hear. Like, seriously. I will share your stuff. I can't wait to read your book. Your
Thank
powerful
you.
words. So, what is your favorite? Do you have a favorite poem or video or piece of work that you can consider your favorite so far?
Well, I think that the probably the most impactful poem for me, like first for my I guess my poetry career will probably be Genesis. That was the poem I did when someone offered me a show, and I was just like, "Yo, you really like this poem?" I didn't know I like when I did the why I did a few poems before that, and like people did like my work, and it was people clap, but you're supposed to clap. So I didn't know I thought people I could tell people were being just kind, or because of the poetry community is always just so open, and they want you to share, and then they make you feel encouraged. So that's what made me really like feel comfortable enough to share like that.
Okay, so how was the process of writing the book? What was the publishing process like? Did you self publish or use a company or what?
I self-published. So writing the book was it took a while. I had a bunch of poems. Um, then I had actually got invited to do a breast cancer awareness pageant in like 2017, 2018, and I wrote a breast cancer awareness poem, and that's what kind of made me come up with the idea for the name of the book, Black Ribbon. At that point, it was going to be a book that I just wrote about every single awareness for each month, and I was going to put that into a book. And I made another poem called "Dear Best Friend." It's a mental health awareness poem, and then that kind of made the shape. That's when I had the idea for Black Ribbon, and it kind of like evolved from there. And then after that, I think like I started then this year during the pandemic. I actually figured out like a structure for the chapters, like what how many chapters I wanted and what was going to go into each chapter. And then I just started to reread a lot of my work and see what could fit into the book and what would make sense and what could actually convey, like what kind of message am I trying to convey in total for the entire work. It was so. I think the biggest process was probably trying to figure out how can I have. Let me see. I think I got about like 85, maybe 90 poems in the book, and like how can you tie those all into one chapter name? Like how can you tie all those different things into one title, into one book, and it still makes sense, and then it still flows.
Wow. 85? That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. But and then just I think about from like 2018 to now, I've been writing more so about myself. I typically when I first started writing, I would just write about a lot of things that's going on around me, and so that's when I started reading my work. That's when I kind of came up with the chapter names. So chapter one is the bond. So that was just like the majority of my relationship poems, and then chapter two is the chaos. And I started because I call it the chaos because it's a reflection of everything that's going on around me. And I realized that I wrote so much about the things that are going on around me. So I decided to name that one the chaos. And then chapter three is the still. And I wanted to call it the still because I realized that when I actually like try to center myself and try to be direct when I'm writing, when I start writing about myself, it just kind of like it's sort of like kind of like a reflection of sorts, like what does it mean to have peace? What kind of peace do I have within myself? And if you just
Like,
stop focusing on everything that's going on around you, you just be still, like what do you have then?
talking about your chapters, it put me in the mindset of some of my own work. I write poetry too. I'm nowhere near as good as you, nor am I ready for publishing, not even close. But the collection I'm working on is a journey tracking traumas and the effects they had on my life, all the way through the healing process. And my chapter ideas are the fallout, the blur, the shift, and peace. Now, blur things are all crazy and whatnot, but the shift is my chapter, The Shift. All the poems kind of focus on maturing and growing, self love, finding all that, like shifting back to where I should be, shifting back to the good place, you know? And so that puts me in the mindset of your chapter, The Still. I love your use of the word still because all of the lessons that I had to learn during the shift would have come so much easier had I just been still. That's one of those really small words with so much depth. And it was a hard one lesson for me. And hopefully, sharing this, somebody can learn it a little bit easier than I did.
I think that the beauty about poetry is that your our poetry is is going to it's so unique. It's all one of one. I will never know anything about your writing unless you share it, and it goes the same thing for me too. So I don't think there's any way that anybody's poetry can be less than or better than anyone else's because the point of view is always going to be so unique. Like, and that's the part that I like so much about other writers, and it's about my own writing as well. Like, there's no way to actually judge it. There's no metric to judge your work because your work can connect with me even if I never even been through your experience because you're sharing it with me, and that alone is tremendous. You know what I'm saying? It's just that, and anybody who writes, if you never share, or if you do share that material that you have, it's always going to be priceless, and it's always going to be precious because it's you.
Well, what I love about your videos is the ease you have. Like, you're a natural performer. I watched one of your videos where you were at like an open mic, and I saw all of them where you was just you and the camera, you know. And in both forms, your words hold power and don't seem forced. I'm stuck at the writing part because working with other people is hard for me. Oh my gosh, the people part is hard. I'm working on it. I'm doing better. I'm here, right? I'm here.
It's so hard.
This is a step.
I feel that. I definitely feel that. I definitely feel that. Like work with other people sometimes can be like a challenge because sometimes like talking to you is great. Sometimes you just got to take what people say with a grain of salt and just keep it moving. Because it's like, once I leave here, I'm probably not going to see you again anyway. So I'm not even going to try to hold on to whatever you're talking about. Like that's not even like you really just gotta try to hold on to every positive thing, every positive person that you meet. Because even when you try to do something good, you're gonna run into somebody who's just like on a whole nother wavelength than you. For real.
I know. I know. I don't like people. Oh, that shouldn't say that. I do like people. I do. I like people a lot. I also just like to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
Extent, I have to work myself up to be like, all right, we're going out in public today. But after that, I'm like, okay, all right, here we go. We're gonna do this. Like, yeah,
Like that's
here
like
we are.
honestly, like I kind of had to learn. I kind of had to learn like just being by yourself, like, cause like a lot of the times, like during this, like I've been by myself just doing this for a little second, and it's like I had to really get used to that, cause like a lot of my homeboys, they don't want to go to every single open mic or every single show. They not that dedicated, bro. Like they'll try, like, hey man, I'll come to this one, and then the next one be like you going to another one, you going to another one, be like they like, you know what I'm saying? So you be like, okay, I gotta go by myself sometimes, and you was like that adapting to that is just like, you know what? All right, yeah, I'm really gonna do this. Like, no matter what. Like it feels good when it's somebody with you, but sometimes you just gotta like that's the hardest transition. Like, cause I feel the same way. Sometimes it's like, man, cause you gotta really be mentally prepared to sit there and talk to other people. Like, you gotta be ready.
Also, I think that I'm Algonquin and you're in Atlanta. See, Algonquin is definitely not Atlanta.
Really not, right? It's like I know it's so far away from Chicago, so it's like, it's
It's
just
really
like don't
not.
even know anything about nothing really. It's
Oh
just
my
like
god.
it's like stuck out there in the suburbs. It's crazy, But I
Yeah.
like Bolingbrook. Bolingbrook is cool. Actually, I like Illinois. Illinois is a different type of experience though. And when I went to Chicago, we went to off mic up there, and you're right, it's a totally different uh environment. I think you definitely should come to Atlanta when everything clears up with the corona and everything, and come to open mic and really get one of those experiences.
Unlikely, but we'll see how that goes. No, seriously. But if you could work with anyone, poet, artist, whatever, do you have anyone in mind? Who'd be?
Yes, like my favorite poet is definitely James Baldwin. I would, what I'm saying, I would have loved the opportunity to make something with him. Like just like I think it's like it's really a skill to put somebody in the actual times that you were living in the same way that people actually talk at that time. And I think that, saying white, black, race regardless, that how he did that in his writing is just like blows my mind. Like, that is talent. You know what I'm saying? Like that is hard to do, and he does it every single time. Then he can make a point with it too. Like he'll do that. He'll have like it's like conversational poetry, but then it also has a message and a meaning behind it. It's like we have writers like James Baldwin where people weren't saying words like nigga in print. They weren't saying it like that, even like in songs back then. So the fact that he was actually courageous enough to say that or and put that in his writing, it then actually but make it like conversational, like this is really how black people were talking at that time. So he was reflecting that like in his work, like with the message as well. It's like then it's just like he's just beyond his years. He's just beyond his years. It's just incredible to me. Like reading, it's like he's cold. He really is one of the greatest writers. Seriously, so it's like it just blows my mind. Like I would love to work with him.
Nice. Love that passion. So, where is your favorite place to write? Do you have a place that's your favorite, like your zone?
In my car. I write in my car. I wrote some of my best poems in my car. Sometimes like waking up and like going to the store, like that's when I was like really writing some of my best work. Like I might go to the store and like on my way back I might be thinking about something. Then like I'll just like stay in the car and just finish writing and be like, yeah, that was really good. Then I'll just go in the house. And it's like that's when I really write the best.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I can't judge though, because mine is oddly. Don't judge me. Mine is my closet.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is my closet. I got two kids though. It's my only quiet place in my apartment.
That's the quiet place.
It's the quiet place.
Oh, that's so funny.
If you could give one piece of advice to creative minds out there, what would it be?
Be kind to yourself and just take what you have. Whatever you have is always good enough. Like there's always going to be like a new level for you to reach with your poetry or your writing, but the level that you're at right now is great. It's good enough. Trust me, like it's good enough. Like you don't have to wait and think it's going to be some type of, you know what I'm saying, some type of epiphany. Like what you have is good enough. Just write more.
Ooh, yes. That was beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. 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 Anything else you'd like to share with us? Socials, what are you up to? How can we find you? How can we support you? Where can we
You
find
can find me on Instagram at Juice Boom. It's Juice Boomin. Uh, my book Black Ribbon is now on Amazon. So it's Black Ribbon, a collection of poems by Justin Good, and yeah, that's it.
I will be sure to put the links to all of that below. Thank you so much, Mr. Good. You guys, go follow him, buy his book, watch all his videos on YouTube. You will not regret it. Thanks so much for watching. Like and subscribe. And until next time, be kind, be real, be creative.
You know it.